Okay, so let's talk about how to create probably the setup most of us are used to doing with like a MIDI 4 Plus. But let's do that with our Mio XM. So again, it's a new paradigm. It's kind of a new shift to thinking about this. You get the XM, you're frustrated because there's not two USB ports. And what you want to do is take your Atom MIDI controller in the host port and have that go out to both the USB ports to connect to computers. Again, you get frustrated, but then you remember Will said we should think about this differently. It's all about RTP MIDI ports now. So I want to show you how to do that. Two machines, and I want to basically set them up to control them with this Atom MIDI controller, most typically in a redundant setup. So here's how we're going to do that. I have Oracle for X Series open on both of these machines. Probably goes without mentioning, although I'm going to mention, all of them are networked together. The XM is networked together with the computers into a switch, our standard setup for this. What I'm going to do is go into this computer first. Doesn't matter the order. I'm going to go to RTP Network MIDI. And again, I'm using the XM for this. I'm going to go to RTP1. It's set to be a responder. And I'm going to click Connect to Computer. What that's going to do is it's going to create a discrete RTP session from RTP X1 on the XM to Ableton Live on this computer. Okay. Now let's go over to this computer and do RTP Network MIDI. You'll see our previous session we created over here showing up here. And I want to use RTP2 for this computer. So let's hit Connect to Computer. Again, give it just a moment and we'll see that pop up. Great. So both connections work on both these machines. And again, this is kind of like Dante controller. I'm not really changing things on this computer. I'm changing them kind of in the network, right? These are hubs. These are little connection points, and the network is in the middle. And this device, the XM, is connected to that. Now, the final thing I need to do, and because I'm changing this on the XM, I could do this on either computer. I'm going to do it on this one just for the heck of it. But I need to go over here and check my MIDI routings. And what I need to confirm is that what's going into host port 1 gets routed to RTP1 and RTP2. And again, RTP1, RTP2. Okay, so I'm going to go into my MIDI routings on my XM. And again, we're dealing with our host 1. So actually, before we do this, I believe I've already done this, but let's make sure we've reserved our USB host port. Yes, we have. So our PreSonus is reserved to host 1. Now let's go back to MIDI routing. Let's go to USB device host 1. And we're going to send this down RTP1 and then RTP2. So whatever happens at host 1 goes to 1 and 2. Okay. So now let's go into Ableton Live. I'm going to start on this machine. I'm going to do Command Comma. Remember that connect to computer session that we created. And if we look here, let's go to RTP Network MIDI. That is from Studio Stage 1, which is this one. That's RTP2. And the name of this is MioXM 0E102. So I'm going to look for that on the input section 0E1-02. I'm going to enable remote. Okay. Now let's get out of that computer. Let's go to this Ableton session, Command Comma, again, link MIDI. And I'm looking for, I have a lot of MIDI connected on this computer, but I'm looking for a similar deal, XM OE101. And again, I'm going to enable remote on that. Now let's make our MIDI mappings, Command M or Control M if we're on a PC. We're going to click play, and then we'll hit a pad on our MIDI controller. Then we'll click stop, and we'll hit same pad on for both of these. And now let's get out of that Command M. Now if I press play, both of these computers perfectly in sync. And again, the beauty of this, yes, we're missing that additional USB port on our MIDI 4 Plus, but we were restricted by how far those computers could be apart. Now with this, these computers could be on opposite sides of the stage. My MIDI controller, my USB MIDI controller, close to that Mio XM, and Ethernet ports 500 feet away to those computers if we needed. Super simple, super straightforward to do. Perfect example though of that mind shift and that change you have to make to the RTP MIDI world.